All right, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon and welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all Illinois students, sponsored by the Illinois Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Again, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I just have a few housekeeping announcements before we go ahead and get started. First and foremost, you can use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to type any questions to our presenters throughout this presentation. We are in webinar mode, so your camera and microphone are off. The panelists cannot see or hear you. So again, that Q&A button if you have any questions or want to interact with our panelists. This is just one of many different sessions happening over the next 5 weeks. So if you would like to check out the full schedule, please visit IACAC.org. And then last but not least, this presentation is being recorded. It will be available within about a week on that same website, IACAC.org. So again, if you would like to share it with anybody, especially family that can't be on here with you today, it will be available. And I will now turn it over to our presenters to get us started with learning a little bit more about Mizzou.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to the University of Missouri overview. I'm Stephanie Duff, one of the 3 Chicago regionals and proud Mizzou alum. I graduated from Mizzou with degrees in music, communication, and Spanish. We also have Maria here with us today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Maria Chukis, and I'm another Chicago-based regional admissions representative for Mizzou. I'm also a Mizzou grad, and I studied business administration with a marketing emphasis, Spanish minor, and multicultural studies certificate. We also have Carly here with us today.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. I am the 3rd Chicago regional rep here. My name is Carly, and just like Steph and Maria, I am also a Mizzou grad. Actually just graduated this past May with degrees in hospitality management, Spanish, and business.
Awesome, so let's get started. The University of Missouri, or Mizzou, is located in Columbia, Missouri. For those of you that don't know, Columbia is smack dab in the middle of the state, halfway in between St. Louis and Kansas City. For those of you in the Chicagoland area, it's about a 6-hour drive, or there are direct flights out of O'Hare into Columbia. For those of you in central Illinois or southern Illinois, it could be an even shorter drive than that. So one of my favorite things about Columbia is the proximity to campus. So downtown Columbia is connected to campus. Even if you are at the far side of campus, you're at the football field, and you walk all the way across campus into downtown Columbia, that's only about a 10 to 15 minute walk. So it is very easy to get to all of your classes, to get to all of the shops, the restaurants, boutiques, music venues, movie theaters, everything in that Mizzou and downtown Columbia has to offer, you can easily get by walking. You are welcome to bring a car as a freshman, but again, you really don't need it because downtown Columbia has so much to offer. For me, I'm a huge foodie, and one of my favorite sushi restaurants of all time is in Columbia. One of my favorite Thai restaurants of all time is there, but also, of course, you know, great barbecue, great pizza. We've been on diners, drive-ins, and dives on the Food Network for this awesome burger joint. We have everything. I like to joke from like vegan to barbecue. So lots and lots of great food. Shopping, not only, you know, your standard mall and all of your mall stores, but also local boutiques. Great art festivals, music festivals. We are home to one of the country's largest documentary film festivals. So we are quite a hub for a lot of things. In fact, big name artists come through town all the time. Everyone from Jason Aldean, Thomas Rhett, Tim McGraw, to Chance the Rapper, Kendrick Lamar, Imagine Dragons. We have ballets, we have plays, we have musicals. We have just about anything you could think up of for anyone's different interests. Also hiking trails, biking trails, running trails. That wasn't really where I spent my time. I was sitting in the restaurants eating, but definitely if you're an active outdoor person, Columbia has a lot to offer as well. The University of Missouri has over 30,000 students from all 50 states and 120 countries. So we have really bright students that come from all over the world to study at Mizzou. And we are a very unique institution. So there's a lot of reasons why students come from all over. We're one of only 6 public universities in the entire country to have a medical school, a vet school, and a law school all on one campus. We are also the land grant institution for the state, as well as the AAU institution. So being a member of the AAU, the Association of American Universities, there's only 65 total universities that are part of this top tier group. It means we are a tier 1 research institution, 65 in the North American continent. We're one of only 34 public universities to be a part of that extremely prestigious elite group. But we're also the land grant institution, which means we have to have a mission for affordability, you're welcome, and accessibility. So that makes us a very, very good value. And being both of those institutions for the state is unique as well. That's like being the University of Iowa and Iowa State, the University of Michigan and Michigan State. So we are both of those institutions for the state of Missouri. Campus itself is a registered botanic garden. So it is unbelievably beautiful. So not only is Columbia ranked one of America's best college towns, but the University of Missouri campus is consistently ranked one of America's most beautiful campuses. I absolutely recommend visiting either in person or virtually to check it out and see more. We have students from all over the country, and they graduate, more than half graduate in the top 20% of their high school class. So we have a very, very bright student body. Of course, we are #1 in the state for the most high school valedictorians in Missouri as well. 26 is our average ACT, but that is not necessarily what you need for admission. So let's go through all of our admission requirements. Whether you are applying with a test score or test optional, we're going to require you to send an official high school transcript. So our high school core curriculum that we're looking for on that transcript includes 4 units of English or 4 years of English, 4 math, 3 social studies, 3 science, 2 of the same foreign language, and then a fine art credit. If you have the fine art credit, awesome. We're gonna include it in the calculation of your core GPA, which is made up of only these classes. It is unweighted and on a 4.0 scale. That's something we evaluate on the back end and come up with for you after you apply. So if you have that fine art credit, awesome, we'll include it. If you don't, that's okay too. So we will waive that requirement for Illinois students that do not have a fine art credit. So if you are applying with a test score, we would look at your core GPA and your test score on this sliding scale. The higher your core GPA, the more flexible we can be with your test score, or the opposite. So say you have a 24 or 1160, you're going to be directly admissible as long as you're in good academic standing with your high school. If you are a ranking high school, we would use the scale on your left-hand side, which shows class rank and test score. We do accept test scores all year round, so even up until, for scholarships until July, but for admission, we have a June 1st admission deadline, so we would accept updated test scores until that point to apply. And we will super score as well. If you're applying without a test score, so you would fill out your application just like the other pathway. So whether it's the Common App or our own institutional application, either is fine. You're going to pay a $55 application fee either way, or we accept fee waivers through your counseling office. And then once you submit your application, you're going to get access to your application status page. This is where if you're applying test optional, you're going to upload a resume and a personal statement. There are examples and prompts for the personal statement on our website. So go directly to our website to see examples of those. And you can elect to send scores later on. So you can apply test optional now, and then say you get to test in October or March or anytime really. You can send us scores later on. You just have to notify us that you'd like to change your application from test optional to applying with a test score. So we understand that a lot of you haven't had the opportunity to test yet. Totally fine. I would recommend applying soon as test optional and then sending us a test score later on. That would be my personal recommendation. So let's just recap, because I know admission right now, there are a lot of questions. So Common App or our own institutional application with a test score, you would need to send it directly from the testing agency. The codes are there. Or without a test score, you submit a resume and personal statement via the application status page that we will give you access to once we receive your application, whether that be via the Common App or our own institutional application. So any questions at all, make sure you put them in the Q&A and Carly or Maria will answer them. but those are the admission requirements for Mizzou overall. If you are interested in the Honors College, it is a great way to have even smaller class sizes, but there is a completely separate application. So once you've been admitted to Mizzou, you may see in your application status page an option to apply to the Honors College. So there would be a link to the application in your status page. You would click that out and fill it out. There are essays and the resume, of course, as well. If you don't see a link to an Honors College application in your status page, that's okay. If you'd still like to apply to the Honors College, you can reach out to them directly for an application. Some perks of the Honors College, very small, unique class sizes. So maybe instead of a biology lecture course where you would have a larger class size of maybe 200 students and then a lab of maybe 20 students, your entire biology course might be 10 students studying one of the ponds on campus. So really unique, small class sizes, a lot of mentorship, a lot of individual advising, a lot of research opportunities, and of course, early class registration. So you get to be one of the first ones to sign up for classes. There are a lot of scholarship opportunities through the Honors College. In fact, there is a full ride scholarship called STAMPS. Those have a December 1st deadline. So if you are interested in applying to the Honors College, submit your application to Mizzou as soon as possible so you can hear back from us and apply to the Honors College, which takes about a month to get back to you. And as of right now, the Honors College is requiring a test score. I will pass it on to Maria to cover some of our academic options on campus.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, let us talk majors. At Mizzou, we offer over 300 different degree programs. So some of those most popular ones include things like journalism, business, biology, engineering, things of that nature. And those are offered within 13 different schools and colleges. I did mention journalism is one of our most popular majors. We are actually home to the first school of journalism in the world. So that really brings in students from near and far to come and study that because of those awesome academic resources. Even if a student were to be undecided, we actually offer a Discover program for undecided students. And that gives them the chance to explore different majors and career options before making that final decision. You'll see on the next slide that we have a ton of different majors, and the ones that are in bold are going to be the main degree program, and then underneath it, you'll see all of those emphasis areas within those programs as well. That's the benefit of having such a large institution with such amazing resources and academics, is because you have the chance to explore so many different academic opportunities. You heard Steph, Carly, and I each mention all of our majors, and some of us double majored, some of us got minors, some of us got certificates. And that's the cool thing, is that you can stay on one campus and explore so many different options. Now I want to talk to you all about the classroom experience. When you come to Mizzou, just to give you some numbers, student to faculty ratio is 18:1 with an average class size of 30 students. And I think one of the great ways to get to know your curriculum a little bit better and just get more familiar with your classroom is getting to know your professors. So all of your professors are required to have office hours. That is a chance for you to go in, get to know them in person, whether it's just you matching a name with a face, because sometimes I like to do that and just start to build that relationship, or maybe you might need assistance or just clarification on something that's going on in the classroom. That is another awesome way to get to know your professors. You'll also have an academic advisor. So whether or not you come in with a specific major in mind or not, you'll have an academic advisor who's similar to your high school counselor, and they're kind of your go-to resource. They'll help you select your courses for the upcoming semester. They'll help you find out about organizations on campus that you might want to join, or maybe even scholarship or internship opportunities as well. In terms of adjusting to the classroom experience, I know earlier Steph mentioned that we have over 30,000 students who attend Mizzou, so I want to talk about what that looks like for you. Sure, you'll have some larger lecture classes that may have maybe 200 or even 300 students in those classes, but what we try to do is offer those on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So you might hear those referred to as intro to ology courses. So if it starts with intro, ends with ology, it's probably going to be a little bit of a larger course, meaning like intro to psychology, for example. What we would do is Monday and Wednesday, we would offer that larger lecture. So you'd go to class, take notes, all of that. And then Friday, you'd have a lab or a discussion where you're actually meeting with a smaller class, probably about 15 to 20 other students, and you have someone like a teaching assistant or even a professor leading that class and leading the discussion. So you can use that time to, one, get to know other people in your class or the ones leading the class, and also recap what you went over during the week. So that's a great way to get to know your professors. But another way to do that is through research opportunities and hands-on opportunities. So as Steph mentioned earlier, we are a part of the AAU, the Association of American Universities. So we are one of only 34 public institutions that are a part of that. And so we're doing top tier research on our campus that's used all across the country and world. Your professors are actually engaging in 40% teaching, 40% research, and 20% giving back. So it really is a well-rounded education. And through our Office of Undergraduate Research, that means you can get involved in such activities starting as early as your freshman year and really get to work alongside your professors and have those opportunities for research, potential publishing, and just more hands-on work while you're an undergrad. But I don't want you all to think that being in the lab and doing research is the only way to get hands-on opportunities. We actually incorporate something called the Missouri method across all of our majors. So it's a term that was coined by our School of Journalism, but we've adopted it across all of our programs because we really want students to get the opportunity to be familiar with their fields and what they're interested in before they graduate and go out to do it full time. So you can see some examples of the Missouri method being used in these photos on the slide, and I'll actually cover a few of them. But what it is the chance to learn by doing. We don't want you to just come to our school and graduate and not necessarily know how to use what you learn, but we want you to be able to apply it to the real world. So for example, earlier I mentioned journalism. We are home to the first school of journalism in the world. We are also the only school in the country that owns and operates a commercial network affiliate by our students. So that means that, as you can see here, you'll see our students on air, but you'll also see students behind the scenes doing the editing, the writing, producing of segments and things of that nature too. So for example, if you wanted to go the broadcast route, what you see is students here at KOMU, and that is our news station. It's actually an NBC affiliate. So while we do have campus TV stations, this is actually broadcast to all of mid-Missouri. So students and families and people in the whole community get to see our students on air, which is pretty cool. In that top left picture, for example, you see education students. So we actually work with Columbia Public Schools to give our students student teaching experiences so they can get familiar with different grade levels and subject areas before they go out and start teaching full time. For example, you see some engineering students. Some of our engineering students are doing some pretty cool things in terms of the new technology that's available to them. So things like helping to build prosthetics for our vet school. Some are even combined with our medical school. I know they've helped to 3D print a spine for a patient before. So lots of different things that you can do within these hands-on opportunities. For myself, I mentioned I was a business major. So instead of maybe one of these types of experiences, I actually went and did internships. And so I was able to actually have 3 internships by the time I graduated from Mizzou in different areas of business and learned what I really, really liked and learned maybe not so much what I didn't like so much so that I could have that going into those full-time applications after graduation. Now, student support and student success is what helps to make these experiences so easy to find. So these student support centers are things that I want to highlight really quick, one of them being the Student Success Center. The Student Success Center is a building that you can utilize for those academic resources. So whether you need tutoring assistance, whether you need to review for an exam with a group, or maybe you even have a paper that you need edited and formatted, you can do that through our writing lab. So that is an amazing academic support center. We also have a career center. So I mentioned I had internships. Utilize the career center for things like resume reviews and doing mock interviews with people, or maybe even getting my LinkedIn headshot, and they would actually help me revise my LinkedIn profile and take a new professional profile picture. So all of that made that search process so much simpler because you have people who are there to help you succeed throughout those processes along the way. But aside from the academic and career side, social support is going to be really important too. Ultimately, this is the place that you are going to call home, so you want to make sure that you feel supported and have those communities of support on campus. So you'll see different social support and social justice centers, things ranging from the Women's Center to the LGBTQ Resource Center to the Black Culture Center, etc. And regardless of how you identify, you can go into those different centers and utilize their resources and go to the awesome programming that they have. It's always a fun and educational experience at the same time. But part of what these great centers offer is great success rates. They lead to our students finding great success outside of the classroom, as well as after graduation from Mizzou. And I think these are some really important numbers to consider when you're going through your college search process, because yeah, it's great to get you to the university, but we also want to make sure that you feel comfortable and that you want to come back to the school, and that even after you leave the school, you're still finding that success. So that's one thing that retention rate covers. So this past year, we actually had our highest retention rate in history at 90%. That means 90% of students are not just attending Mizzou, but coming back for that following year. We also had a 92% successful career outcomes rate. And so what that means is that within 6 months of graduation, our students are either going to grad school, finding full-time employment, or joining the military within those few months after graduation. So for a school of our size, these numbers are phenomenal. And this is across all of our majors. So some are even higher than these. That is part of what makes Mizzou and attending Mizzou such a valuable experience. We were actually ranked a best value institution for our academics and our affordability. And so I do want to cover what some of those next steps look like in terms of that valuable experience and scholarships and those upcoming dates and deadlines. Again, you can find our costs on our website, but in terms of the timeline, just to walk you through it, October 1st is when the FAFSA opens. That is the free application for federal student aid, considering you for federal aid opportunities like grants, work study, and loans. December 1st is when our scholarship applications are due. So we have both competitive scholarships as well as a scholarship application through a platform called Scholarship Universe. That's new as of this year. And what you'll do is after you apply to Mizzou, you'll use that same username and password to log into our Scholarship Universe website and create a profile for yourself. From there, you'll have scholarships added to your profile database that are Mizzou specific, as well as external scholarships that can be stacked on top of those Mizzou scholarships. So lots of ways to make Mizzou affordable there. And January 1st is our FAFSA priority deadline. So you want to make sure that you have that FAFSA completed before then and sent to us. May 1st is National Decision Day. So that is the date to let us know at the latest that you are choosing Mizzou. You can always let us know earlier. You can still start engaging in those next steps as soon as you apply and are admitted. But May 1st is National Decision Day. And then as staff mentioned earlier, if you want to send us updated test scores for those automatic scholarship awards, we will accept those all the way through the July test date. And again, we are super scoring those as well. So now I'm going to cover the Missouri residency process. This is another way to help make Mizzou affordable, especially for my out-of-state students. Our automatic scholarships range from anywhere from $2,500 renewable all 4 years, all the way up to a non-resident tuition waiver. So that non-resident tuition waiver would bring you from out-of-state to in-state tuition. However, if you do not receive that out-of-state tuition waiver, or maybe you just want to go through the residency process, this is another way for you to pay in-state tuition after your freshman year. So I'll go ahead and walk you all through the 5 steps of the residency process. First things first, you would live in the state of Missouri for 12 consecutive months. So most students go through this process starting their freshman year, starting the August that they move in freshman year. So that 12 consecutive months means you'd stay from August to the following August, so August of your sophomore year. You could go home or go anywhere out of the state for those university holidays like Thanksgiving break or spring break, but we just ask that for the 12-month process that you're doing that over that summer, you stay in the state, but you can leave for up to 14 days. So that means you can spend up to 2 weeks out of the state of Missouri. The rest just needs to be spent in the state of Missouri. During that 12-month process, you'll also make $2,000 of taxable income in Missouri. You'll also get a driver's license and register to vote in the state of Missouri. And then while you go through the residency process, you cannot be claimed as a dependent on your parents' taxes just for that 1 year. So you complete those 5 steps, turn in your materials, and that is when you become a Missouri resident and get to pay in-state tuition. And so that typically saves our out-of-state students an average of about $17,000 per year moving forward. So a lot of our Illinois residents end up taking advantage of that opportunity because it is quite a simple residency process and allows that opportunity to kick in so much sooner. So now I'm going to pass it over to Carly, and she, as she mentioned earlier, is a recent grad, and she's going to talk a little bit more about that campus experience.
All right. Well, one of my favorite things for sure about Mizzou is the fact that there are so many different ways to get involved. We have over 600 different clubs and organizations on campus. I bet that if you're doing something in high school, there's a really great chance that you can do it on Mizzou's campus too. We have anything from a Quidditch team to intramural sports, a hammock club, a running club. We have Greek life, honor societies, tons of different ways to get involved, as well as professional organizations. We try to recommend that students get involved in at least 2 things. One specific more towards their major to get them that professional networking experience, and then something a little bit more for fun to kind of focus on a hobby of theirs. Now, if you look at that list of 600 and don't see anything that you'd like, if you and 9 other students get together along with a faculty member, you're able to start your own club. Students also get tons of different discounts when it comes to concerts, events, and speakers. Steph mentioned a bunch of them in the beginning that come to the city of Columbia, but they're also coming to our campus. Another big one that happened when I was a junior in high school was Jesse McCartney, as well as Bill Nye the Science Guy. So just a couple cool opportunities when it comes to those performers, which is why it's so cool that we're located between St. Louis and Kansas City, is that oftentimes you'll find performers who are in St. Louis and on their way to Kansas City will actually stop in Columbia for our students. Another great way to get involved is through our rec complex. The rec is not only the largest space on campus, but it is my all-time favorite space on campus. That bottom left-hand photo doesn't even do it justice, but that is our lazy river and whirlpool. Yes, there is a lazy river and whirlpool in our rec center, as well as outside those windows is an outdoor pool. The rec doesn't just stop there, but there's a steam room and a sauna, as well as a cardio room, pump room. We have 10 basketball courts, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, a rock climbing wall, racquetball courts. There's a boxing gym, a CrossFit gym. Basically anything you want to do when it comes to exercise is available in our rec. We also host what are called Tiger X classes, where students can actually spend the first week of school taking these for free. This is the only additional fee associated with the rec after that first week. There's classes like you see in that first top photo of SoulCycle. There's things like Zumba, Pilates, even paddleboard yoga, which I wish I had the coordination to do so. There's actually windows in the cardio room that look over the pool. So definitely spent a lot of time watching them, just not participating. The rec also has opportunities for student employment, whether that be teaching any of those courses, along with working the front desk and things like that. There's also other ways to get involved, one of them being through the largest alternative break program in the nation. It's called Mizzou Alternative Breaks, MAB for short. This was something I personally was involved in. Students have the opportunity to travel both domestically and internationally to serve on different projects. My favorite project was to Jinotega, Nicaragua, where myself and 20 other students got to help serve their community by teaching them English. Obviously, with COVID going on, it's a little bit more challenging to get our students out traveling. So we're actually really working on making sure that our students are serving in their local communities in whatever capacity that can be for them. So really wanted to make sure that that giving back aspect was something that we still took advantage of even during the times like these. Now, if you're still looking for ways to travel or maybe get out, study abroad is also a great opportunity. This was something, again, that I personally participated in. There are over 400 different study abroad programs. You can go for as long as an entire year or as short as even a spring break portion, just for that week long. I personally went for an entire semester. I was in Alicante, Spain, which is a small little city about an hour south of Valencia, where I lived with a host family. This was really cool for me because I got to use that Spanish speaking knowledge of mine outside of the classroom, really kind of force myself to use it in that everyday knowledge. Like I said, there's over 400 programs in nearly 50 different countries. You can kind of go anywhere you'd like. I personally wound up traveling to 10 different countries while I was there. There's also opportunities for scholarships for your study abroad programs, whether that be specifically through Mizzou and the academic program you're going for, but there's also external awards, kind of like through that scholarship universe that Maria was mentioning earlier, that you can get for scholarships for these study abroad programs as well. I want to end with a couple of fun facts here. I'm sure you all get to celebrate homecoming at your high school. If you do, you have Mizzou to thank for that. We are the birthplace of homecoming. Back in 1911, our athletic director, Chester Brewer, sent out handwritten letters to the alumni telling them to come home, which coined that term homecoming. We played Kansas in a football game, as you can see in that top photo there, which ended in a 3-3 tie. Although not the most exciting game, it turned into a rather exciting tradition. Where homecoming in high school is only a week long, here at Mizzou, it lasts the entire month of October. We have a lot of those similar aspects, things like the parade, royalty, and of course the football game. But on top of that, we have the largest student-ran blood drive for the Red Cross. We have a student-ran food drive. We do skits and dances. And then we also have something called Paint the District, where our student organizations pair with local establishments downtown, painting their windows in black and gold, really welcoming that alumni home. It is definitely my favorite weekend of the year. I am an October birthday, so homecoming usually falls right around my birthday, so definitely feel extra celebrated when I was on campus. It is October 17th this year, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how all of that plays out. When talking about football, we also want to mention our other sports. We have 20 NCAA Division I sports teams. We are located in the SEC, the Southeastern Conference, and our sports are really another awesome opportunity to get involved. We have what is called the Student Ticket Combo Pass. For $150, students have access to all men's basketball and football games, and then all other 18 sports are free with your student ID. Sports are another great way, like I mentioned, getting involved and really supporting your classmates. I was a huge athlete growing up, obviously not good enough to play college sports, but I really wanted to make sure that I didn't let go of that sports side of me. I spent tons of times in softball and baseball games, women's soccer, gymnastics, wrestling. There's just really great ways to kind of support your classmates, kind of get out of the classroom and have some fun with your friends. The last thing we want to mention here is housing. Obviously, that's usually a big question that students have when deciding where to go to school. All of our freshmen are required to live in university housing. So that's one of 24 residential halls or one of 2 off-campus apartments that we pair with. When I say off-campus, I don't actually mean off-campus. It's just not an illegal city limit of our campus quarters, but it is all walkable. Like Steph mentioned in the beginning of this presentation, there is never a point in time that you would need a car on campus. The farthest walk is about 15 minutes. All of our halls have also been renovated in the last 10 to 12 years. Say this is important because you all know, coming from the Midwest, one morning you might wake up and it is 35 degrees and pouring rain, and by the time you get home, it is 70 and sunny. So being able to control your own heat and air in your individual rooms is going to be crucial on days like that. We also really wanted to make sure that our housing process kind of take some stress away from students. We've created what we call a preference form. There are 5 steps to this preference form to kind of make sure that you're getting the best housing option for you. That first preference is going to be academic. Whether you want to live in a freshman interest group, or as we like to call it short, a FIG, these are where students of the same major live on the same hallway together, and then they are going to be co-enrolled in classes together. You can also live in learning communities, where again, you'll be living on the same floor with students that have the same major as you, but not necessarily enrolled in courses. And then that last option just being a general learning community where students on your floor are of all different majors. That next preference will be whether or not you want to select a roommate or suite mate, as long as the both of you both put your names down on that form. That next preference is probably the biggest one people have some trouble deciding between, is community versus suite style. 70% of our halls on campus are community style, meaning that you and a roommate will live in a room together and share a bathroom on your hallway with about 10 other students. Those bathrooms are cleaned daily. Then those suite style options make up 30% of our halls on campus, majority of them being that Jack and Jill style. We have 2 roommates, a bathroom in the center, and 2 roommates on the other side. We do have a couple single suites. I'm not sure how my brother happened to snag one of those as a freshman. Usually they're reserved for those upperclassmen who decide to live in the dorms, but still a possibility if it's something you're interested in. Our suite style halls are only cleaned twice a month. So if you're a cleanly person, maybe that'd be okay for you. If maybe not so much, the community style might be a better option. That next preference being location. So where on campus you want to live, whether that's closer to the football field, closer to the rec, maybe closer to the quad, and then that last preference being any accommodations you may need. When filling out that preference form, you'll also fill out a housing and dining contract. That dining contract will put you into the middle level dining plan called the Tiger Plan Plus, where you'll have access to 29 different dining locations, 3 of them being all you care to eat, meaning you swipe your card at the front and basically eat anything that you'd like, whether that be the sandwich of the day, the salad bar, stir fry, burgers and fries, ice cream, cookies, kind of anything you want, you can go ahead and grab. And we have 26 other styles. So that's a la carte options. That could be Mexican or Italian or American style food. And then of course we have grab and go and convenience style stores. Maybe you're not such a breakfast person and you want to just go in the morning and grab a granola bar or a banana. Or maybe you're craving some Ben & Jerry's ice cream late at night. That's available for you too. The last thing we want to mention here is this timeline. No matter what institution you are looking at, it is important to stay up to date on these different deadlines, as you don't want to miss out on any opportunities. So we are on what is called rolling admissions, as Steph mentioned. Our application opened about a month and a half ago now on August 1st. That next big deadline you'll see is October 1st. That is when the FAFSA opens up. That is in just about a week and a half or so from now. But our first big deadline for us is that December 1st deadline. That is the deadline for those competitive scholarship awards through our Scholarship Universe platform, as well as a start to our housing process. So housing is a two-step process, that first one being open on December 1st, then you'll have until February 1st to be considered in that first pool of prospects. The beginning of March, you'll hear that first round of assignments being announced, and then from March 1 up until May 1 is that second round of housing. Other deadlines you'll see in that early winter spring semester, January 1st again being that FAFSA priority deadline, some more information about the Honors College, along with our new student forum for orientation, and then that last big date being May 1st. That is the last day to decline admission and receive a full refund on your housing and enrollment fees. These are the two largest fees that you will see as a senior in high school, and you have up until May 1st to decline that, which means we really recommend going through this entire process, as there really is no stake in the game here. You can make sure that you're giving yourself as much opportunity as possible and still have that time to decline if you decide to do so. If not, May 1st would be the day you decided to be a Tiger and welcomed onto the Mizzou family.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Again, my name's Stephanie. I'm the North Chicago rep. We have Maria as well.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. Maria Chukis, and I'm another Chicago representative working with students in Chicago public schools as well as neighboring suburbs.
And then again, I'm Carly. I take care of West Chicago as well as Wisconsin students.
You will find on our website a Central Illinois representative as well. His name is Gabe. So if you're coming to us from Central or Southern Illinois, you can reach out to him, but all three of us are happy to work with any of you from the state of Illinois. We would also love to host you on campus. We are doing in-person visits. You can schedule them. They have to be 30 days out. So if you're looking to visit maybe over Thanksgiving break or something like that, you have to wait until 30 days before the visit to be able to schedule on our website. All of our COVID safety precautions are on there as well. Or you can utilize our virtual resources. So we have a virtual online campus tour. We also have individual meetings with admissions reps. So you can request those at visit.missouri.edu, where you would meet with myself, Carly, Maria, on an individual Zoom meeting with maybe you and your parents. You can also request individual academic appointments. So if you're wanting to talk to engineering, journalism, business, nursing, any major on our campus, you can request that academic appointment on our website, visit.missouri.edu. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And I know StriveScan has one more announcement.
All right, thanks guys. I'm just going to take over the screen share here. And as mentioned, we just have one last announcement for those of you who are participating in the event this afternoon. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you got a lot of great information. When you close this window, there will be a quick link to a survey. It's 4 questions, I promise. It's small and easy to do, but please provide any feedback that you can about this program. As I mentioned in the very beginning, this is just one of many sessions that are being held over the next 5 weeks, so feel free to participate in any additional sessions and sign up for those at IACAC.org. And finally, the recording of this session will also be available within about a week on that same website, IACAC.org, so that you can, again, access this content later. Thank you so much, and everybody have a wonderful evening. Bye.